Kempula Rinpoche.
Morning.
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 Oops.
Okay, so ready? Almost.
Good night. Good night, Pola. Pasidele.
Today we're going to practice Chinrezek, and then I'm going to share 37 practice Bodhisattva. First, we go to the opening prayer. Opening prayer. So, hope everyone has Deity Yoga Sadhana, page 3. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles to my path to liberation and damnation, may they experience happiness, be separate from suffering and safely. I will establish them in the state of Ansapas, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles to my path to liberation and nations, may they experience happiness, be separate from suffering and safely. I will establish them in the state of Ansapas, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dala Dhamvara Zibe Da Nobara Zibe Ge Tabadan Damje Jembe Barde Jubara Zeba Damje Jezo Zebe Mananga Dan Yambe Zemje Damje Dewa Dande Donghara Dan Dar Nyorda Lana Me Yangda Bara Zobe Zanjo Rumbo Jedo Baraza. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of Mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble darkness, darkness, and the Dhamma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As previous Buddhas embodied the enlightened mind and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path. Too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to Bodhicitta, and apply myself to complete the stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha most excellent. I take refuge until I attain enlightenment is reached. By the merit of Janaras and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mothers and sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. So we're going to do the 7-line prayer, long one. I bow down respectfully with my body, speech, and faithful mind to all Tathangatas and the 10 directions. Those who have already reached Tathangata state, those who are reaching it present, and those Tathangata state to come. Through the power of Samedabhada's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest vividly in my mind. I prostrate to them, multiply in my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. In each atom, I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surrounded by countless Bodhisattvas. Thus, our space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all the Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great origin of the excellent qualities. To all Buddhas, I make offerings of various pure flowers, flower garlands of music, anointing oils, manifesting light, and fragrant incense. I make offering to them of fine garments, perfume, and purple, poured high as moon, meru, and orange, the most beautiful way. I visualize the highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I prostrate to Buddhas and make offerings to them, following the deeds of the great Bodhisattva Samandabhara. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas in the 10 directions of the great Bodhisattvas and Pakika Buddhas. Those who have attained Aharasha, those who have entered the path of Aharasha, and all other beings. I request to all great protectors and Buddhas to turn the highest way of Dharma as the light displaying the darkness of beings in the 10 directions and leading them gradually to the enlightened states. I supplicate those Buddhas intending to pass into Parinirvana to living long for as many eons as there are atoms of the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. The ground is sprinkled with the scented water and strewed with the flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the spirit mountain, the 4 continents, the sun, and the moon. As Buddha fair, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fairs. To the lamas who possess the Tirikayas, I offer altar, inner, and sacred offerings. With my body, worth, and all that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Namandra Lapunza Manga Samandra Savaran Samaya Hong. I call refuge, O name of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor, Vajradhara, widow adored. I bow at the feet of Father Njiti Sungo. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unlimited nature of mind. Please turn the way of the Dharma of the two vehicles and the combination according to disposition and likewise the mental capacity of sentient beings. So now we go to page 24, the Chinrezek Sadhana. From the Deity Yoga Sadhana, page 24. We have 2 different Chinrezek sadhanas in this book. Visualization, the all is the same, no difference. But this page 24, this sadhana has more go to deeper meditation into the Mahamudra. So first, like section is go to generation stage meditation, then go more deeper is Mahamudra meditation. This practice, Chinrezek, is good with good means like it's go together with the 37 practices, very important. So Chinrezek is a compassion Buddha, embodiment all the Buddha's compassion. The 37 practices we practice bodhicitta. So bodhicitta is arise to the form body is Chinrezek. That's the reason we going to practice Chinrezek, visualize ourselves as Chinrezek. Then we can cultivate, meditate, love, compassion for others, and also when love, compassion generated our mind, I think. So that helps become, we are more compassion in our or other for others. Visualize the Chinrezek, get blessing. Or the 1,000 Buddhas, past, present, future Buddhas, embodiment of Chinrezek is compassion. We practice Chinrezek, we get blessing of Chinrezek. So that's the reason we practice Chinrezek first. Page 24, everyone have a sadhana, right? Yes, Deti Yoga Sadhana, thank you. This one we chant twice, so once English, once Tibetan. First I do the English. In this sadhana, directly go to the visualization, so no opening prayer specific. We already did the opening prayer, so now it's going to main practice. Just directly go to the visualization. In the center of a pure realm of Potala, brilliant white on a lotus and the moon seat. I appear in the form of noble Avalokiteshvara, white and radiant, with one face, 4 arms, and 2 legs. My first 2 hands are joined at my heart, and the lower 2 hold the crystal rosary and the white lotus. I wear silk and jewel ornaments, and my seated legs are crossed, and adorning my crown in Lama Amitabha, Buddha of boundless light. All surround our Buddhas and Bodhisattvas together like clouds. From the Om, Ahom, at my 3 centers stream out rays of light. Invite in the halls of wisdom deities who dissolve indivisibly. In the center of my heart, on a lotus and a moon, this seat is the celebration. Surrounded by the mantra garland, from it, lake streams out, making offering to the noble ones and purifying the obscuration of all beings. The whole environment becomes the realm of a moon Potala, or that appear in the form of the great compassionate one. All songs, speech of the 6-syllable mantra, and all thoughts the wisdom mind of emptiness and compassion, out of the genuine nature, beyond grasping and all providing, I recite a mantra. Now we do the Tibetan. Shridagbe yingang boda layewe, ragarbe mai dawe din din de, ranyen bhabai jinre ze jego, Kasar yadye saye yamnye ba, tambo sanye dogar dharmo jar, Oma nije yendren bekar nam, tardan renjin jinden jerong yo, jewo lama oba mebe jin, Korda sanje sansen trindarte, Nezon on a honge uzerji, Yishe lazo jinran yimiten, Tuwe bede din la yege re, Tendang a jen chingwe korwa le, Onti panjun rogen drpa jong, Shingan tamje rewo tale sheng, Nangwa tamje tuje jembe go, Dada tamje yige chukpe song, Tengdo tamje donye nyingye to, Jingme Jada Nyume Ngang De Om Mani Padme Hum 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. So now you can chant the mantra silently, and at the same time you can listening teaching. I'm going to share here 37 practice Bodhisattva. Before the 37 practice Bodhisattva, so I can go a little bit about a brief biography of Bodhisattva Tomi Zambo. So who wrote this Bodhisattva practice? That's usually required to do that. Any teaching when you're going to receive, so usually we share that person who wrote the book, and we share that short biography. Okay, so now I'm going to ready to share the teaching. Tamge doje yaje reason dong yin jeng do deje bonjong ba serje lembo tavar jipek shaje jarbe jala zorwan de doje janjen telo naro dang marba malai chije gambo ba Amurba Jarwan de Gombe, Raju Lama Namla Zorwan de Romain, Jije Yanje Bobrani, Tizom Sanje Genje Ngoye, Ransom Jiga Ngonzon Donzebe, Zawe Lame Jala Zorwan de. Okay, so now Bodhisattva Tomi Zambo. Tomi Zambo, who is counted as 73rd in the lunar Lamrim lineage, as is 73rd in the Lamrim lineage, was born in a village near such a monastery in the common year 1295. So that means 1295 he was born. Tomi Zambo is a Lamrim lineage. His parents named him Goncho Zambo. So his name, parents give Goncho Zambo, meaning excellence of the Trapegem. Zambo means excellence of the Trapegem. That's good to know. Okay. Then as soon as he learned to speak, it became even evident how full of compassion he was. So he was young, he has I think lots of compassion. One day as he sit on his mother's lap, he saw a leaf wired up into the air by the wing and began to cry intensely. So he cried when he was mother's lap, right? I think lap. So he saw a leaf wired, I think, up into air by the wind and began to cry intensely. So why are you crying? Asked his mother. So mother asked him, why are you crying? He pointed a finger at the despairing leaf and said, some of these areas are harder to give you pronunciation. So I never read this before English. So sorry about. An animal has been carried away into the sky. So someone, I think, carry animal in the sky. So maybe some birds eating some snakes could be, or something others. Okay. Another occasion, after he had begun to walk, he went outside but returned only a few minutes later, naked, to the great surprise of his mother. What have you done with your clothes? She asked. There was someone out there who was feeling cold, he replied. So he went outside, come back is naked, no clothes. And he saw someone is give his clothes. She stepped outside to see who it was and saw that their son had put his cloth, son is S-O-N, son, I think, had put his clothing over a frost-covered bush. Stones had carefully been placed on the corners to keep the coat from flying off. Okay, when he was 3 years of age, Koncho Zangpo's mother died, I think. And 2 years later, his father also passed away. He was cared for by relatives until age of 9 when he left the grazing lands and went to a monastery called Samling. Where a monk took him in and taught him to read and write. At the age of 14, he was granted vows and began extensive studies. The following year, due to his accomplishments, he earned the name Tomi Zangpo, which means unimpeded excellence. Later in life, he was given the additional epithet of Jatse, meaning son of the Buddhas, a Bodhisattva. After having received 4 ordination at the age of 30, he served for 9 years as the abbot of Boding monastery. So I don't know which monasteries where he was monastery. He served the 9 years abbot of Boding monastery. Thereafter, he stayed more than 20 years in retreat. He is said to have composed over 100 works, chief among which are a commentary on the 7-point mind training, the 37 practice of Bodhisattva, and the ocean of fine explanations, a commentary on the Bodhisattva Abhachayara, I think way of Bodhisattva. Though later is known about his later life, like all great beings, Tomi suffer more than others, than they themselves suffer, and he felt happier than others when they were happy. He passed into nirvana in 1369 at the age of 75. Okay, so that's the short biography. I hope you understand. And he wrote a couple of books, and the one of the is the 37 practice Bodhisattva. So this 37 practice Bodhisattva is the most popular book. All the lineages, everyone practicing this 37 Bodhisattva. Actually, it's due to his compassion. So that's the reason everyone practice 37 and more benefit for others. Then in the, after Jarse Tomi, Ngurche Zangpo was who wrote this 37 practice Bodhisattva. After, and many followers practice 37 Bodhisattva, become their achieved Bodhisattva level. So mostly the Dharma practitioners, the daily practice is 37 Bodhisattva. Then in Tibet tradition, there's most masters, and every day they read 37 practice and also meditate and practice cultivate. Then they also share this teaching often and often. 37 practice Bodhisattva receive also Khenpo Jimmy Pinso many times, Gachi Rinpoche many times, like many other teachers. I heard Khenpo Jimmy Pinso, he said he received this 100 times from other teachers. So that means like, don't think about we receive once, so we know this 37 practice. We don't know 37 practice Bodhisattva. So we can read 37 practice Bodhisattva, but meaning is harder, very hard. If you practice more, and you can go more deeper and deeper. So that's the reason you receive more, and you practice more, cultivate more, practice 37, then you really understand, connect more with the 37 practice Bodhisattva. Sometimes we think we just read and like words, understanding, then we think we know 37 practice Bodhisattva. Actually, really don't know. Because this kind of prayer practice is surface or like gross level, easy to understand, but to go more subtle level, deeper level is more harder. And then if you really want to know 37 practice Bodhisattva, so we have to not only listening, teaching, we have to cultivate, we have to meditate. Then, so you understanding what means 37 Bodhisattva. So this 37 Bodhisattva can change our life. That's the reason Gachi Rinpoche always share this 37 practice Bodhisattva. So then some teachers easy to talk to sharing words, 37 practice Bodhisattva, but not really that means like have practice. Some teachers don't share really correctly the words teaching, but that means that some teacher has a really good practice. So they really know the meaning and understanding this deeper level. They have a practice. So that's the reason even we can talk and share this teaching. Example, I can share you this today, whatever I know, but that means I don't, they cannot say I know the 37 practice of Bodhisattva. I just only follow the words. And some good teachers, even they don't really share correctly the words, but they really know the 37 practice of Bodhisattva. They have a practice. So main point, we have to not only listening enough, the words understanding. We have to cultivate and meditate, put practice and daily our life. So that's most important. And then here, the 37 practice of Bodhisattva has 37 verses. This book has actually all the Buddha's teaching subsumed in this book. So we read this book and then really strong devotion arises to Jarsengur Tomi, who wrote this book. When I read his biography, but not that much connection. And when I practice 37, then I really have strong devotion to Jarsengur Tomi. So sometimes, like, we share the biography, but that don't really help much. And you really, what they did, you practice that, you study, and then you recognize that person's ability and their compassion, their wisdom. You study all these different Buddhist teachings, philosophy, or the different levels teachings, study, and then you go back to 37 practice, you really recognize how profound essence. And he bring all the like important essence into this 37 practice, or the Buddha's teaching subsumed into here. So this main point is based on three yanas. Also, that means like all three yanas teaching is subsumed into here. This category goes like method and wisdom. So method is love, compassion. The practice is generosity, patience, and morality. And then wisdom is meditation and wisdom teachings. So actually all these 6 parameters is included in this teaching. 6 parameters are subsumed to 2 categories, method and wisdom. So this book is like subsumed 2 categories, method and wisdom. So then practice of Bodhisattva. So the Bodhisattva means like who can practice this. Here what Jarsengur Tomi sharing here, that person is called Bodhisattva. So then he homage to Avalokiteshvara. Jarsengur Tomi, before he wrote this book, he homage to Chinrezig. The reason is Chinrezig is the embodiment of all the Buddha's compassion. Homage to Avalokiteshvara. So then this first verses, he talk about the Chinrezig quality. So this Chinrezig quality actually is all the Buddha's quality, or the Yadam deity's quality. Yadam deity Buddha has lots of qualities, but all is subsumed to also 2 categories. Is who has method and wisdom. means like who has compassion, who has wisdom. So that's is the called Buddhas. Who has that quality, that's called Buddha. Then homage to Chinrezig, and also we get a blessing from Chinrezig, compassion to from compassion Buddha, get blessing. And then also homage also helps us also remove our obstacle to practice 37 Bodhisattva. And listening, like you can completion, listening, teaching, and to cultivate, meditate. So that's get blessing from Yedam deity. That's the reason. And the authors always homage to their own Yedam deity before the going to write the sharing the Dharma book. So Gyaltsen told me his Yedam deity is Avalokiteshvara, and also this book is Yedam deity is Chinrezig, because it's this book or is talk about the compassion, participation, and that Yedam is the Avalokiteshvara. So he homage to Avalokiteshvara. I pay constant homage through my three doors. So through my three doors, our body, speech, mind, to my supreme teacher and the protector Chinrezig. So supreme teacher and the protector is Chinrezig. So that protector means like we can take refuge to Chinrezig, because he is the supreme protector, he is the supreme teacher. While seeing all phenomena like coming and going, so that means like Chinrezig has wisdom. He realized absolute truth. And so he is Buddha, showing form bodies Bodhisattva, but Chinrezig essence is main point, essence is Buddha, because he's seeing all phenomena like coming and going, is everything is emptiness. Yeah, so he has realized absolute truth, emptiness he's seeing coming and going, make single-minded effort for the good of living beings. So that part is his compassion. He's seeing all phenomena like coming and gone. So that's the reason he has make single-minded effort for the good of living beings, has a very strong compassion for others, because truly all is phenomena like coming and gone, no exist. So we don't have that realize. Actually, all the sentient beings like free from, not birth, not death, but we don't recognize, we don't have realized that. No birth, no death. Chinrezig has that kind of realize. He's seeing all beings free from death and free from birth. No suffering, because it's emptiness, no exist. But we don't have that realization due to our obscuration, emotions. That's the reason Chinrezig, he has very strong compassion for everyone. His compassion is unconditional compassion, makes single-minded effort for the good of living beings. All his compassion is all for living beings, all sentient beings, economic compassion for everyone. So Chinrezig has this unconditional compassion. The reason is he has realized absolute truth. So that's why he has this unconditional compassion for everyone, every sentient beings. Then perfect Buddhas. So this is the second verses. These first two verses no contain in the 37 number. So this is like kind of preparation for before the 37 practice. So first he homage to Chinrezig, and then he just who is Chinrezig? He just explain who is Chinrezig, who has wisdom, compassion for everyone. That is Chenrezig. So that is like actually all the Buddha's quality. Main point is, then who has that quality is that is the supreme teacher, that is the supreme protector. So that being is our, we can take refuge to that kind of like, Buddha. So that means Buddha, Chenrezig. Then Chenrezig, homage to Chenrezig, and the perfect Buddhas. So this perfect Buddhas, all the free from emotions, all the quality has. Buddha means like wisdom, compassion, power, all this quality has perfect Buddhas. Then source of our well-being and happiness arise from accomplishing the excellent teachings. So this Buddha is the source of our well-being, happiness. So where is it come from? Buddha is where is it come from? He's saying Buddha is come from excellent teachings. So Buddha is come from Dharma teaching. I mean the Dharma, So Dharma is here is the main point is like in this 37 practice is Dharma. Then think about way of Bodhisattva. So joy, honor, liberation, essence of Mahayana, that's all is a Dharma, right? Not talking about the books. The main important is like practice, 6 perfections. So that is the Dharma. This Buddhas can benefit many other beings. The completion own benefit, the completion can be others' benefit. Then this excellent teaching, where this is come from, is come from the excellent teachings. And this then depends on knowing the practice. So Jarsing Ngurche told me he is a scholar because he is abbot, means Kempo in the monastery. The biography says like 8 years he shared the teaching. So main point he says have to know the teaching. We have to know the teaching first, have to study. This Buddha is come from the Dharma. So we have to know the Dharma. We have to study, listening, contemplate, meditate. Excellent teachings, and this depend on knowing the practices. So main point, we have to study, understanding Dharma. And this depends on knowing the practice. So I will explain the practice of Bodhisattva. That's the reason he said, I have going to explain the practice of Bodhisattva. So we don't know practice Bodhisattva. So then Jarsing Ngurche told me he going to explain, he's sharing for us what means practice of Bodhisattva. If we don't know the practice of Bodhisattva, then no possible become we are Bodhisattva. If we are no possible become Bodhisattva, then no possible become Buddha. So where is Buddha is come from? Buddha is come from Dharma. So Dharma we have to know, study, knowledge. We have to gain knowledge first, understanding Dharma. That's the reason Jarsing Ngurche told me he's going to explain. So now is verses 1, first one, number 1. So verses number 1 is talking about the main point is we have to cultivate precious human body. So having gained this relationship of freedom and fortune, here think and meditate unwillingly, night and day in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of single existence. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So now, having gained this rare shape of freedom and fortune, so we, have to think about this precious human body. We have this precious human body. Freedom is very hard to get. Precious human body, and our case right now, like we have this opportunity. Having gained this rare shape of freedom, we have rare shape of freedom because freedom from harems. Harem has extremely heat and cold suffering, no opportunity practice Dharma, never ever think about the Dharma. So much suffering. And then hungry gods, we are free from hungry gods states. They are extremely hunger and thirsty. Never ever think about the Dharma, never ever going to hear the Dharma, no possible, no capacity, no opportunity. 100% lack of knowledge hearing the Dharma in these two realms, extremely suffering. So we are free from that state. And then also animal realms, we can see just also like how to explain these 6 realms. We can explain many different ways 6 realms. So according to Buddhist teachings, like followed by the 3 yanas, 6 realms. Hinayana, like basic teaching, 6 realm is separate levels. But according to Mahayana teaching, 6 realm is appearances, appearances, our perceptions. So individual perceptions. Then Mahayana, Vajrayana is similar, just everything is our perception, individual perceptions. So that means like 6 realm is not really, we have to pointing different realms. In this human realm, in the within like in this world, human realm, we say like this world has all these 6 realms included, because due to individual, each being has different kind of experience. Some has extremely heat, and body is fire. So does it matter that being is like animal kind of a body or human being's body? Suffering is a harem's suffering. And then extremely cold and frozen. The body is can be animal or human beings or different kind of beings. So suffering is harems, this heat and cold sufferings. So if we are reborn that kind of beings, and then no possible to opportunity to practice Dharma. Then hungry goes extremely thirst and cold, thirst and hunger. So some animal has that suffering. Like sometimes we see that in the desert area, no water, and some bugs, insects, animals, their body is just dry. Like same is like tree is drying, like that, it's then die. So that kind of beings has body is different animals, but suffering is a hungry ghost. Hungry ghost has a heat also too, and that has a cold too. And then also plus like this hunger and thirsty. So this suffering many animals has too, and also some human beings has that suffering, mentally have a suffering, some has physically suffering. So that's bodies can be animals, human beings, suffering is a hungry ghost. So then animal we can see, so we know the animal. If you watch the discovering channels, you really see the animal suffering. So many different kind of animals, so many countless beings. So we are free from that state. We have become human being. It's not easy to get reborn to human being. But then also in the human being, most people don't have spiritual, lack of the spiritual. So many people is no open mind, no connection spiritual. Some has spiritual connections, but due to karma, and also connect with the wrong spiritual directions, like they get wrong view, wrong ideas. So no, thing about our case is like we get human body, and also we have opportunity connect with this kind of teaching, 37 practice of Bodhisattva. So that is not easy to get. That is a big bonus for us. We have to recognize that. If we don't recognize, then also we are, sad, suffering, and we have depressions. That's kind of thing we have, because due to our emotions, we don't recognize we have precious human body. If long as you meditate precious human body, you really can remove depressions and sadness, suffering. So suffering is in the human beings, mostly the best one is like due to the jealousy. Also, ignorance and the jealousy, because that we don't recognize our own opportunity. And due to that, and we not looking to the other realms suffering, we don't seeing the example, like some don't have same as us opportunity levels. We don't see them. We only see some has a better life than us. Some has like more like kind of a successful business, successful family, and then some education. So this worldly things, something like someone who has better than us. We only comparing to them. We watch them. So then we do to that, get jealousy and comparing. So then arise, hatred arise. So due to that, we are the human beings extremely suffering. So due to that, then you don't see your quality, you don't see your opportunity, you don't see yourself, you don't recognize yourself, what you have. So then what you have, good conditions that don't benefit you, because you don't see that it's your something good you have. So then due to that, people are suffering. And think about, if you meditate, cultivate a precious human body, we free from animal realms, whole big gift in this body. So you don't think about some small problems. You don't stuck with the small problems. You think about, if you really cultivate a hungry ghost, we are free from that state, like, oh, we are lucky, extremely lucky. We have a home, we have food, we have friends, parents, like, connections, many things. So all good conditions. If you recognize that if you have something like small problems, something going on with your mind, you can release that easily, comparing. So then like that, you cultivate harems, suffering, and we recognize ourselves. And also same time, you can cultivate compassion to these lower realm beings. Then arise compassion to them. So that's why this precious human body meditation is not only just recognize ourselves, not going to get like kind of a pride, oh, I have precious human body, I'm something special. No, not like that, recognizing. So you recognize precious human body, and you really arise compassion for others. And then you put practice. So practice this 37 Bodhisattva. So you're going to do something benefit for others. So that's the reason all the quality is source come from is recognize precious human body. We only have this, human being has opportunity study this study 37 practice Bodhisattva. So that's why we have to having gained this rare shape of freedom and fortune, here and think. So we have to think and meditate. So we think about this, cultivate and think. So then what we have to do, we have to unwillingly night and day in order to free yourself. So we have to free ourselves suffering and others from the ocean of cyclic existence. Practice precious human body helps, we get courage to do something and wanted to benefit ourselves and also wanted to benefit others. Because we recognize this, or this samsaric sentient beings are suffering. So precious human body only have opportunity free from suffering. So that's the reason, and we want to free from suffering, and we benefit ourselves and benefit others. That's the reason we put in the effort. So we have to cultivate, practice 37 night and day. Actually 24 hours cultivating and meditate for thinking about the benefit for others. So that is the first verses. Now we go to second verses. So first verses is we can cultivate forethought meditation, not only the precious human body. So precious human body and impermanent meditation, cause and effect, defect of samsara. So that forethought meditation is like actually one packet, have to go together. So when you recognize precious human body, then also you know it is impermanent. Otherwise, you're not going to put effort. So you know like it is impermanent, easy to lost, hard to get precious human body. So that's why long as we get precious human body and meditate unwearingly night and day, try to benefit for others, then that's also follow the cause and the effect. And then you know like all samsara is suffering, defect of samsara. That's the reason we want to help for others, ocean of cyclic existence. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. So that's the first verses. The first verses, words is of course like short, but essence practice we can use a long time to meditate, cultivate that section. Then go to second verses. So this second verses talk about three poisons, and attachment, anger, and ignorance. So then where is the attachment is come from? Where is the anger is come from? Where is the ignorance is come from? So this is in this second verses introducing. Because there's some samsaric beings suffering, we talked suffering. Where is the suffering come from? So suffering is come from, it's origination of suffering. So now this, like talking about Atemi point, is origination of suffering. So attached to your loved ones, you are stirred up like water. Hitting your enemies, you burn like fire. In the darkness of confusion, you forget what to adopt and discard. give up your homeland. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Jersey Ngurchi told me his main point, he says, we have to give up our homeland. If we stay our own homeland, then we have this source of contradiction. Actually, this all these contradictions. We have all this contradiction. Contradiction means contradiction attachment, contradiction anger, contradiction ignorance. That's the reason if we have to give up homeland, otherwise we stay in our own home. So home has attached to our loved ones, hatred to the enemies, and then due to that we have don't know what is the correct kind of source of happiness. We don't know which is the source of suffering. We don't know. It's causes of ignorance. So that's the reason Jersey Ngurchi told me, he said, we have to give up your homeland. And then, and this also dependent, like homeland means, during his time in Tibet, they stay in the villages. So villages knows each other. Then they always says loved ones, hatred ones there. Because hatred ones all the way background your parents and grandparents, enemies, family generations, enemies. And then of course loved ones mean you attach to, of course, your loved ones, and you protect them and hatred to others. So that is lack of the wisdom. That's why it's ignorance arise. And in this, our case, give up your homeland in the United States, is actually everyone already give up homeland. Canada also, because you don't know your neighbors much. So you really don't know many there, generations, family, that we don't know each other, many others. So their situation is totally different in comparing to, in Tibet and right now in the Western country. Also, I think it's a Western country used to like that, could be, but now it's change the time is different. In Tibet also now it's changing, everyone moving and they don't stay one place. So it's change. So main point is here, long as we have these three poisons, not possible we can practice Bodhisattva, Bodhicitta. So that's why Jersey Ngurchi told me, he said we have to give up our homeland, means we have to give up attachment object. We have to give up anger object. We have to give up, ignoring object, conditions, causes of attachment and conditions, causes of anger, hatred, and conditions, causes of ignorance. We have to give up that. So attached to your loved ones, you are stirred up like water. So our attachment is same as the stirred up like water. Think about the boiling water. And then heating your enemies, you burn like a fire. So anger is the same as a fire. So anger actually burning ourselves. Our own anger burn ourselves. Our attachment stir up like a boiling water ourselves. So in the darkness of confusion, then you forget what to adopt and discard. So we don't know what is like, adopt and what is the discard, because due to our ignorance. So give up your homeland. Jersing Tomi, he says, like, this attachment, he treated ignorance is based on your home. So give up your homeland. This is then you can practice a Bodhisattva. He did that. So the same is Malarepa, think about Malarepa, his story. He have to give up his homeland. So if he stay in his homeland, so much heat-rated there. So anger is like same as a fire there. Heat-rated each other. And then, of course, attachment, their desire and their take advantages each other. So then due to that ignorance, don't know what is the really source of happiness, don't know what is source of the suffering. So everyone actually want happiness, but chasing to create the causes of suffering. So that's the reason, if you really wanted to become practitioner, say Tomi say, we have to give up your homeland. And homeland is like, main point is like causes of heat-rated and the causes of attachment. Then we have to give up, just move somewhere else, go to somewhere else. So that's actually for beginner practitioners. Advice for beginner practitioners. This level is all for beginner practitioners. And then you have more practicing, like used to, I think, Bodhisattva practice. Your homeland is not causes of suffering. Your homeland can be causes of happiness, because you can transform. You can use that and you can practice more compassion. So this is advice or like giving instruction is for our beginners. If beginners like stay at hometown and then attach to the loved ones and hatred to the enemies, and due to that whole life goes like that, there's no opportunity to practice Dharma. So someone has, of course, like Dharma teachings, then they cultivate Buddhist 37 practice, meditate, then homeland is no problem, because they can use that and practice more love and compassion for others. But beginner people, if stuck that kind of situation, not possible to practice Dharma. That's we know. So like we also like think about, you stay with your family together, no opportunity to meditate. And you have to do lots of things with them, and then, do all the sorts of like kind of worldly activity, and, like taking care of each other, no opportunity meditate. So you have become yourself, you can meditate and practice. So this give up attachment, the give up your homeland is like individual can find the source. So if you stay in the living room, you have many people there and you cannot meditate, you can go to your room and meditate. That is your give up your homeland. Your homeland is think about in your living room. And you give up your living room and TV, give up TV, watch TV, and give up, like your conversation with the other childers, and then go to your meditation room or maybe your room and meditate. So that's also give up homeland too. And if you stay at your home, so you cannot do much, then you can go outside and somewhere else and practice. Like just when you're ready, come back to home. So that also helps. This all is like have to follow individual level. We have to understand. The monastics, like of course, 100% they have to give up homeland. If they stay home and then always like with the family, and you knows everyday situation, your family's situations, then you have always stuck with that, attached to that. And then you have to take care always this worldly, like relatives, families, and not possible to practice Dharma. So you really want to truly practitioner, of course, have to give up homeland to go to same Malarepa, right? And then other like practitioner, many like that. So our capacity, our individual level, give up homeland means like you have to find place to meditate and practice. Not stuck with worldly activity with other people like either chatting and wasting time. So talking about something meaningless, either chatter, causes of become attachment, causes of hatred, causes of ignorance. So we have to give up that. We have to use just our own mindfulness. So just you think one day, okay, I watch news like maybe 30 minutes, TV, and like 1 hour I'm going to meditate. So you can put 1 hour every day, practice Dharma. So that is possible, and that's no difficulty. That also helps. You give up 1 hour your homeland. Yeah. So that's become used to practice that, used to also then you can give up maybe 2 hours your homeland. You can give up 3 hours homeland. Then used to maybe you can give up 6 hours. Like that way we have to cultivate, practice, become strong and strong. Have to use to that. So now that the second verses is main point is this origination of suffering. Origination of suffering is attachment, anger, and ignorance. Long as we have that, we don't have love and compassion, because this is always due to the suffering, causes of suffering. Long as we have attachment, anger, ignorance in our mind, no bodhicitta, no peace, no happiness. So that's why give up your homeland. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Then verses third, avoiding bad objects. Disturbing emotions gradually decrease. Without distraction, virtuous activities naturally increase. With the clarity of mind, conviction in the teaching arise. Cultivate seclusion. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. So now, if we give up our homeland, means like attachment, anger, ignorance, so then our good qualities arise. If we stuck with our emotions, then never ever possible our good qualities arise. So all the suffering is arise, because it's like origination of suffering. The verses the second is. So verses the third is like if you avoid, this three poisons, avoid that, then all the good qualities arising. Avoiding bad objects. So bad object is anger object, attachment object, ignorance object. So disturbing emotion gradually decrease. Then emotions naturally going to decreasing, because you avoiding bad objects. Your loved ones, actually, we're talking about the loved ones, is long as loved ones people don't want to hear that part, loved ones. Okay, this loved one is not the causes of happiness, loved ones. This loved one is in the verses second talking about the loved ones is like causes of suffering, loved ones. So you avoid that object, become you less attachment. Less attachment, you are less suffering. So become your decrease in your attachment. Disturbing emotions gradually decrease. Then without distraction, of course, then avoiding bad object, maybe hitting your enemies, you're burning like a fire. If we don't have enemies in front of with you, your anger is decreasing. So sometimes we not really enemies, but due to some conditions create always, heat-rated. And you avoid that conditions, become your anger is decreasing. Emotion gradually decrease. This, you have to bring like our daily practice. When you think about like with your family and together, and then you have a love with them, but sometimes like without our wisdom, what we doing, some love is creating causes of suffering each other because without wisdom. That's why you have to really look and see, and you don't give up them. Main point is like you just less like, okay, my speech is like actually due to attachment, too much love my family. That's why actually my speech is like not great because it's not benefit them, and create causes of suffering each other. So then you have to recognize that and the less speech and go away somewhere and silent. Don't have to talk, right? So like in your together something going on, and due to like attachment, no happiness, create causes of happiness each other. You have to recognize, you avoid that the conversation or condition, and go somewhere else yourself, meditate. So this all actually good suggestion for us. I mean the like good instruction for us. Sometimes we do to our attachment, so we want something, but actually create ourselves suffering and also others are suffering. We don't recognize. So through use the wisdom and understanding, then there's something what we doing action is due to the attachment, create the causes of suffering each other, then we have to avoid that. So main point in this 37 practice, all practice is important, but without mindful awareness, not possible we can follow these instructions. Long as you have a mindful, then each verses actually really helps us to remove our suffering and reduce our emotions, increasing our our spiritual quality. So these words, individually, our capacity always have something can learn from that. Yeah, give up your homeland. I just told you like many different levels to give up homeland. Sometimes I stay my room and I go too much in the social media, then I go to outside, walking outside. It's much better. So that's also I give up my homeland too. Yeah, sometimes like with people talk often too much, and then try to like short conversation, go to somewhere else. Like that's also like say avoid a bad object. So that kind of like many possible we can avoid bad objects means. So not always a bad object, always is dependent, also too, dependent. Some days bad objects, some days good object. So you have to recognize that. Bad object means like sometimes, oh, you pointing something, then always you think that is bad object, not always bad object. So also dependent. Some days it's like good for good object because like use that we can do something, practice. And so that's why we have to know like our capacity level, use our mind for, have to use this, each verses have very important sections. Each verses have like our individual capacity can learn. Also our individual situation can learn. So avoiding bad object, disturbing emotion gradually decrease. So you have long as mindful, you knows how to do yourself, avoid these bad objects, then you don't have to run from your home actually, somewhere else, like go to in the forest, right? Sometimes the forest also may be bad object too. So that bad object is like always dependent. Then you know like how to find good object, you know how to avoid bad objects. Then that helps disturbing emotion gradually decrease. So you also go to the work and you have to do dealing with your co-workers, dealing with your boss or your boss. You have to know how to dealing with your workers. And so everything has a method, main point. So you have to know that you try to by avoiding bad object. What is the causes of attachment, causes of hatred, anger, causes of ignorance? You have to avoid that object. If you know how to do that, then disturbing emotions gradually decrease. Emotions naturally decrease. Without distraction, virtues, activities naturally increase. So all this good quality is increasing because without distraction, without this bad object, virtues, then virtues is like all the what you're doing, good things from your body, speech, mind, activity, everything naturally increase. With the clarity of mind, so then your mind also become more clear, free from actually ignorance. Because you have wisdom, you know how to avoid bad object. Then you have wisdom, you recognize what you're doing. So that's why it's your with clarity of mind. Conviction in the teachings arise. So then you really also devotion, kind of like you see the teachings qualities, conviction in the teachings arise. You study this 37 practice, contemplate, meditate, use this practice often and often, you really recognize Dharma's benefits. So that's why it's cultivating seclusion. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Arise strong devotion and arise, certainty, kind of your mind, certainty, arise devotion to Dharma. That is all is like due to your practice. Usually we say, we need devotion, but without the practice of Dharma, not possible to devotion arise. So you really practice Dharma and then devotion is arise. Example, you practice this 37 Bodhisattva, devotion arise to Jalseng Tomi, who composed this book, and then you arise devotion to the spiritual masters. arise devotion to Dharma, arise devotion to Yidam deities. If you don't cultivate this 37 practice, then we say, I want devotion, I want good qualities, not possible. Cultivating seclusion, this is the practice of Bodhisattva. Then, so next is, verses 4 is, meditate for impermanent. So impermanent meditation helps not really strongly attached to in this life. If not attached to in this life, then we are free from attachment. Actually, kind of like no attachment is by avoiding bad objects we're talking about up there. That practice quality is actually come from its meditation impermanent. So loved ones who have a long kept company were created with difficulty, will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, were leaving the guest house of the body. Let go of this life. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. This verses is very powerful because always, we get some situations ourselves, difficulties due to the attachment. So we have our loved ones. So also we attach to our, like many objects, what we owned, and we attach to this many things. And then we also attach to our own body. So due to that, always bring the, like suffering. Due to the attachment, is causes of suffering ourselves. If you know these words, then play your mind again and again. When you have some situations, condition, due to this kind of situation arise, you play your mind, these words really helps, remove your suffering. But main point is like we cannot avoid the object. We cannot avoid the object, but we can change our mindset. So long as you change your mindset, change, or the object is changed. Object can be causes of suffering. Object can be causes of happiness. So if object is you really strongly attached to the object, is causes of suffering. Attachment, then that brings like hatred. All the fears also arise from the attachment. Object can be, not causes of suffering. You can have that object, but not really hurt yourself. That you can use the object is correctly too. Benefit yourself and benefit for others. This section is like very important, like meditator, practitioners, how to use that object, and no meditator, ordinary people don't have any Dharma educations. They use the object is causes of suffering. And the meditator, practitioners use the object is causes of happiness. So they both can use the object, but they're using different ways. Yeah. And some people, of course, loved ones who have long kept company, and our loved ones, family, relatives, friends, or is kept company were part. that situation is everyone have this situation, conditions, causes conditions. No one free from that conditions, causes of conditions, right? Everyone has family. The family, or the family is going to, where company, where part become separate. Long as we have family, it's going to separate. Yeah. So that is 100% for everyone. Long as we have this body, everyone has that situations. But then, no meditators, people who do know impermanent, they're extremely suffering. So of course, like loved one, we don't know when going to become separate. No one has certainty. So long as comes together, and then everything is impermanent, is going to become separate. Same is like long as we have a birth, we have death. Who has a death, then there has a birth. So that is like the reality, samsara's reality situation, right? Long as we have a birth, you have a parents, you have relatives. So then that is impermanent, never ever go, always like kept together, not possible. Then if you know this impermanent, you can love your loved ones. You can more love than before. You know it's impermanent. You really love your loved ones, but not really stuck with that much suffering. Because one day your loved ones separate, you really know that's happening. It's nature of phenomena. No one can keep together. That is the nature of phenomena. When this situation arises for us, you can understand, that situation happening for everyone. You're not really stuck with the suffering. Some people really suffering. Sometimes like loved ones go separate, they're suffering, extremely suffering. Then they don't see anything in the world happiness. They wanted to become also die, take their own life. That kind, many people has a problem because due to attachment. In this section, during the Buddha time, he shared many times for his followers how to avoid attachment. He see the attachments causes of suffering. So he used many examples and sharing stories, his disciples. You can go to, the one book is Tinahan. Tinahan, he wrote the biography Buddha Shakyamuni. It's very beautiful. He included many stories inside there. So Buddha's biography is for ordinary people's perception. Very easy to understand. The Buddha Shakyamuni biography has many different levels because due to individuals' perception. High realizer has their own perception, Buddha Shakyamuni. And they wrote the Buddha Shakyamuni biography, their high realizer, their own perception, very hard to understand for our level beginners. That Thich Nhat Hanh, he wrote the Buddha's biography. That is our ordinary people's perception. Biography, Buddha Shakyamuni's biography. So he was born in the Siddhartha kingdom, and he go through all the levels, family, and then he give up home, and he meditate, looking for teachers, he meditate and become he enlightenment, then he share the teachings for others. That's all whole thing is like followed by the individual, like no individual, like ordinary people's perception biography. So that's very easy to understand for us, and also you can learn many from that biography, our daily practice, daily activity, how to, remove our attachment, hatred, angers, how to be peacefully mind in the day, cultivate peaceful mind, cultivate love, compassion for others. So it's very beautiful that Thich Nhat Hanh wrote the biography. I really like. And then also the follow by that biography, in India, someone created the Buddhas, or this movie is called Seers, right? Seers, or it's Tibetan has like 53 hours have to watch whole thing. 53 hours is the movie they create. But the movie is a little bit go to more family dharma. And that is like usually due to the India culture, they like to do that. I don't think so. Like that kind of dharma in the palace, but could it be have a little bit dharma, of course. But there too much dharma in that is the culture India. The right now the India, the sellers, the create movies always like to family dharma. They put their laws. So other is all is great. The movie also really beautiful too. So no, then you learn all this Buddha's biography, you really know it's this impermanent. So during that time, so many powerful kings exist in India, so many powerful kings that fighting each other, hatred to each other, seeking the power, control. So there, because due to attachment, long as the attachment, then there has anger, and then due to that create the causes of suffering each other. So during the Siddhartha, he really see that these kings all doing create the causes of suffering, but no one accept, even his father never can accept what Siddhartha says. So Siddhartha, he really see these kings, everyone doing causes of suffering because it's fighting each other, territory and control. So causes of suffering, so many people suffering. That during that time, think about, no, these kings no exist. Even their palace, kingdoms never ever exist. Even names also almost no exist. So all is gone. So what they get benefit? Nothing get benefit because it's all harming each other. So that is another like attachment is causes of suffering. So then that time is all this, the king, each one has a really powerful kingdoms, or it's become separate. Nothing is exist. It's all gone. So then after that, all so many conquerors, like conquerors means like these kings like conquered different ways, but all is become gone. No one is exist. So now you see in this world, is like many different countries, and then they have some countries very powerful, some countries no power, some countries like have freedom, some countries no freedom. That's also impermanent, really impermanent. So we no need to attach to our own country, no need to hatred to others. Everything is impermanent, right? So you cultivate that really helps. Nothing is impermanent. It's always changing. You don't know what is going to happen like after 100 years. Right now in this world, no one's alive in the 100 years after. It's always become new people in this world. So everything is changing. Right now in this, who fighting this countries, each other territories. Next life, you reborn to other side. So that is like say becomes causes karma due to karma. So no like example who control power and create causes of suffering other people, and that person is become reborn to next life, and another like become the who torture the person that belong to that group, that person is reborn there again. So samsara is like karma cause and the effect. Samsara is the realizers say ridiculous, means like you wanting something, fighting you in this life, you next life you other side. So actually realizers seeing you're harming yourself, you're cutting your arms, you're cutting your fingers like that. So attachment causes suffering is like that. Everything is a change. Our loved ones also become separate. Friend also separate. Country is separate. So cannot really attach to that. But it's impermanent. You take care. Still, you can take care of your family. Still, you can take care of your loved ones, and you can take care of your life. And what you have, you can take care of that, but you're not stuck with that. You can use that your object. That's you have to really understand. Sometimes people misunderstand in this section. You think I have to give up. Give up is not ready. That's also have different levels, practitioners. Someday you really don't need anything. That time you don't have to give up, naturally give up, because due to your level, practice level. You really don't need a home, because elements is become you controlled. So you don't need to give up your home. You natural element is controlled. You don't need a home. So elements, 5 elements is you seeing is Buddha. So we talk about Buddha elements become Buddha transform, means like no attachment, no desire. Is element is you can control. And as long as we have anger, attachment, we cannot control elements. Long as you have anger, fire always going to burn us. Long as you have attachment, water always affected you. So long as you have thoughts, and this earth, wind always affected us. So meditate, practice, become free from emotions. The 5 elements cannot affect us. Then that time we don't need any homes. Wherever you go, it's your home. So that's the yogis, high level practitioners. Examples, we have lots. So after that, of course, we need a home, you need a family, you need many, object, but you don't need strong attach to that, fixation to that object. You can use that. Just you really understanding what you have, not become causes of suffering. You can use causes of happiness. So then worth created with difficulty will be left behind. See, that whatever worth created with difficulty will be left behind. Everything's left behind when we die. So sometimes I also think about these politicians. Is the politicians like change, due to the, of course, different countries, some change 4 years, some change 5 years, some change 10 years. Always they work so hard 10 years or 5 years. After that, another opposite group take way over. So your all work is hard work, whatever you're doing is work for actually your enemies become. So temporarily, see, but people don't recognize. So that's always happening especially in the democratic countries. always opposite, like party talk over. So you work so hard 10 years, almost you not letting go anything, so strong attachment, but after everything is talk over someone others. That's it. So your work 10 years, 20 years is for your enemies become no any the result permanent, right? So like that. And everything's very created with the difficult were left behind. Everything's left behind. Then of course when we die, everything's left behind. Nothing we can take with us. So you put these verses into your mind, you lose something, also great. Use these words. And your possessions, your loved ones, or your material object, someone you lose or someone stealing from you, many conditions, things happening in the life, right? Always something going on. Long as we exist in this body, always going on something. So this has always something you can learn from your situation. You play this one yourself, then your minds calm down. You really recognize. So then see where the created with difficult will be left behind. Everything's left behind. But after, who going to use? Could be it's become everything is your enemy has. So sometimes no, my children has. Your children can be your enemies too, previous life, right? So that is like also karma, because it's many, karmic imprints have to pay back some things. That's due to that. Also, loved ones, not always, but can be enemies too. So everything is changing. So everything is uncertainty. That's why word created with difficult will be left behind. Everything will be left behind, but it's after all this, you really don't want to give anyone penny to benefit someone, but that person can take everything after become over. Because maybe no need to change the life, take over, or maybe the change life come back to, your loved ones and the take over. So that's why everything's uncertainty. And permanent means like you really have to know that way. Not just say, oh, we are impermanent, everything's changing, like, or is follow the cause and the effect, changing, be left behind. Consciousness, the guest. So then, of course, this is very good. Our consciousness is the same as our guest. We'll leave the guest house of the body, then let go of this life. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. So our body is the same as the guest house. The consciousness is the same as the guest. So guest is not permanently stay guest house. Then otherwise they cannot say guest house. You cannot say guest, right? Guest and guest house means like temporary. So our body is temporary, and then mind is guest house, guest, so goes to take another guest house. So that means like we are not only this life, we have future lives. So only this life, then no meaningful. Good thing is we have future life actually. You get just courage to do something good things because you recognize future life. Really helps. We have future life. Otherwise, like you think about yourself, only this life is then not really make sense, right? So we have future life is a good thing. That's the reason we can do something good things and can benefit for others. So let go of this life means not attached to this life, because we have future life. Future life is more important in this life. The reason is this life is very short, temporary. Future life is more longer. If you take care of future life, then you take care really permanently. If you take care in this life, it's taking care temporary. So you want to take care permanent, right? Not taking care temporary. Taking care temporary, no benefit. So same is like every day we have to take care of our body. We eat breakfast yesterday, we take shower, and we did all the taking care, everything what we need, but today we have to do again everything. So never done. So that is called temporary taking care. In this world, human beings only stuck with temporary taking care. Meditator practitioners taking care future life, permanent. They don't have time to take shower, meditators. And they don't have time to, many things like worldly activities. And then sometimes these worldly people think meditator practitioners are crazy. They think they are crazy and they're not great life. They think they don't have good life, but actually they has good life we don't recognize. Yes. So meditators really recognize we don't have good life, the worldly people, because every day taking care our life, but never successful. So that's the reason. Also, sometimes we can change our, daily life taking care. If you use like more mindful, you can change. Like you have a strong pattern or like, habituate to what you're doing every day. So you due to that's also attachment too. You can change that. If you don't change that, it's harder to possible to change your life. So more important is like you change your daily, doing something, worldly things, change that. Then you can really change our life. You have more time to practice Dharma. Some people really extremely suffering in this world life because they don't think they're suffering, but are seeing extremely suffering and wasting life, really wasting life. Some only focus 100% their job and the money. They don't think about even the family. They don't think about the life other than anything other than money. It's really wasting life, I think. Always stressed out. The person's always a hungry ghost. Always suffering. Some people always stuck with the family. They're 24 hours always worry about their own family. Then they're also really wasting life. Your family is actually good to your support for your life, but your family is not causes of your worrying and the causes of suffering. So 100%, the 24 hours worrying about their family. Some like always stuck with their own family, like sometimes like they're too tight. I mean, no flexible, really tight. Then their parents don't give any small freedom for kids, their own children, because they're so strongly attached and so strong tight. No mind is flexible. They're not good for kids too. They're not good for them, but they don't recognize. So then they're not doing anything good thing in their life. Because attachment, 100% attachment control their own children or family, right? First, husband control wife, wife control husband, then kind of like due to attachment, 100%, they don't have any open mind, no any wisdom, suffering. So many families are suffering due to that attachment. If they have more flexible, of course, you can have a kids, you can have a wife, you can have a husband, but you can better life, but they don't recognize because due to attachment. So you can change that situation, become good life. But due to attachment, really suffering many people in the world. Main point, so we have to change like some our daily doing life, like bodily activity. So you have to look to yourself what I can change. Someone say you have to change this is hard to do that. You have to accept yourself, main point. You have to look to your situation and more open mind, really think about what I can change myself in this day, one day, in this month, in this year, what I can change. So if you can change in the day, then you can change the week. You can change the way, you can change the month. You can change the month, you can change the year. If you can change the year, then you can change your life. If you cannot change one day, then not possible to change your week, month, then not possible to change your life. So you can change many things. Okay. Many things actually we don't have to do some worldly activity. Sometimes we think we really have to do, but you really look closely, investigate, you use your mind for and spiritual mind for not necessary to do many things. If you let go of that things, actually nothing benefit your life. So many young energy and young activity your life. So you can let go that nothing lose anything in your life. It's become your life is big change. So that's you really have to love yourself and let go young energies. Do you understand what I'm talking? Yeah, so we stuck lots of young energy, young activities, no important anything, no benefit ourselves, no benefit others, main point. So just due to attachment, never ever let go. So strong fixation we have, that's the kind you have to let go first. Then that's a change your life, helps you, and then you can put more effort for practice Dharma, and you can use that as something like, young energy you can use for something good for your life practice. Okay, so then let go of this life, this practice of Bodhisattva. So let go many things. Not only the life, let go means like that is like end of the life, right? But many things you can let go within 1 hour. Many things you can let go one day. Many things you can let go 1 week and 1 month. So you don't have to go follow exactly same. Okay. So then what time is? Okay, time is finished. Thank you. We finished that today.
There's a couple questions in the chat, Kempola.
No yet questions. So first we go to the practice. Please go to the practice.
Okay,
Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Page 26, the Deity Yoga Sadhana. This mantra is followed by the three kayas, actually kind of four kayas, followed by four kayas mantra. And first one actually more generation stage mantra, what just we did. Then second is go to Dharma kaya. Third is Sambhona kaya. Fourth is Namana kaya. So no, what we did at the mantra, the visualization part is a self-generation. Our service visualize, Chinreze, meditate, and mantra is called self-generation mantra, generation stage mantra practicing. No, is Dharmakaya. Sure, at my own mind, with mind, I look. With nothing to identify, it is just like space. With nothing whatsoever to see, vividly clear. In that essence, which is emptiness, I remain. Tibetan, Ranga Sem La Sem Jeti, Nizong Me Pe Nam Kanda, Jayang Man Tong Sang Ne Wa, Ngo Wo Tong Ba Nye De Ne, Om Mane Pe Me Hong Shi, Om Mane Pe Me Hong Shi, Om Mane Padme Hum. Out of that experience of unimpeded emptiness, appearances arise unobstructed and vividly clear, without bias or pervasive and compounded, and with the nature of a clear light, how wonderful. Tomba Santar Nganye Le. Nawa manga salewa rimi kinchan dimase ranjin usar ngom sar che omane pe me hongre omane pe me hongre omane pe me hongre omane pe me hong omane pe me hongre. Clear yet empty, and empty yet clear, clarity and emptiness indivisible, beyond thought and expression. This innate genuine state of a perfect bliss is the automatic Lord Avalokiteshvara. Sar yin dong la dong yin sar, sar dong yer mi sam ju jar, len ji nyu ma de jin de, mi dong jin re zi wang yin, oman de pe me hong zhe, oman de pe me hong zhe, oman de pe me hong zhe. Oman be me hongre, 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 oman be me hongre. Page 157, the Kaju lineage dedication prayer, the Deity Yoga Sadhana 157. Dorjen Chang, Telopa, Naropa, Marpa, Malarepa, Dharma Lord Gambopa, Pamotopa, and Lord Digompa, please bestow upon us most auspicious blessings of our Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, by defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who traverse on waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise, where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that Lama may have good health. I pray that Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activities separate far and wide. I pray that I may not be separate from you. As Manjushri Devero realized the automatic state, and as did Samantha, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by blessing of the invisible Sangha, order made I shall bear fruit. by the virtue collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the inner rule of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. By the teaching of the Guru Digompa Ranachari, who is omniscient Lord of Dharma, Master of Interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of the samsara. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay, so now ask question, and if you wanted to leave, you can leave. See you. If you leave, see you tomorrow. And who want to stay with the discussion, so welcome.
Thank you, Kempo. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Kempo, may
Yes.
I ask one question?
Mm.
When you were talking about the conscious is the guest and our body is the guest house, so who is the host?
Body is a hosting.
But you say that in the verse they say that the body is the guest house. But I want to ask, who is the host? The guest
karma,
and the
karma
host.
is the host.
Who?
Karma.
Oh,
Karma
karma is the
effect.
host. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Kempo, Tess asked me to ask her question, and just anyone else, if you've got questions in the chat, you're welcome to ask them yourself. I'll do this one, and if you want me to.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Tess asks, so your attachment and aversion, that is to be given up, but don't give up desire, I think, as that is proven pure merit, based on the fact that desire that creates and fuels our motivation for achieving the benefits of both self and others.
Okay, so that's a positive desire.
Okay.
So we need a positive desire, give up negative desire, create a positive desire. That's very important. Then you can achieve. Without a positive desire, then you cannot be here today. Yeah, so we are here today. It's like we all have a positive desire. That's why we are here. And you're listening, I'm sharing teaching, and we're cultivating, meditating. That's all is a positive desire benefit. Thank you.
Did anyone else want to go ahead, or did you want me to read from the chat?
Just people who has directly can, if they can say it's directly, it's better. Individually, directly comes better. If you have questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My question is, I came in the meeting late, but what was the text you were reading from?
We have
The teaching.
We have it called Deity Yoga Sadhana. Is that used for Chinrezek practice, and that's you can download in the website. So this teaching is organized by Canada Vancouver Dharma Center, has a website. Gardruma Buddhist Center in Dayton, Ohio, has in the website. Dagon Dharma Syria Center in Virginia, Fairfax, has in the website. You can download either Dharma centers. That's sadhana. And then 37 practice also, like I think you can download from the website. I'm sharing the 37 teaching. Yes.
Okay, I thought you were reading from something during the teaching and that I couldn't find. Yes, I'm familiar with the downloads. Thank you.
You're welcome. Then next,
Dama, did you want to ask your own question? I think maybe they don't have mics. I don't-
so yes, then what is the question? Can you chat?
Yeah, if we have a strong attachment to Avalokitesvara and for practicing the Dharma for the benefit of others, can this kind of attachment become harmful
Which attachment?
to the deity and our practice?
Or attachment to the deity?
Attachment to the deity and our practice for the benefit of everyone. Can we become too attached to that and cause harm?
That's also called positive attachment, to remove the negative attachment. So then, long as you remove the negative attachment, then positive also not exist too. You can free from that. Yes. That is not necessary to worry about. Yeah.
Melissa, I think you're next.
Kimpala, when it says give up your homeland, is it also referring to give up the ego, give up the territory of ego?
Yes, that is great. Someone cannot give up ego. That the egos arise from due to the cause conditions of homeland. That's why it's a give up homeland. If someone can give up ego, then that's a perfect.
Thank you. I'll try.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, Kyopo, when you were on verse 4, which I believe is talking about impermanence, you mentioned the nature of phenomena. So is the nature of phenomena impermanence?
Yes, everything is changing. It's a natural phenomena. Like no one can control. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Andy put a question in the chat. If you are in the victim of misunderstanding about your personal private life, job, or relationships that are not related to your Dharma practice, and wrong accusation, I'm sorry, I can't, Andy, it might be better if you ask the question yourself. I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying here.
So thank you. I write I better write Tempo, what should we do if you're the victim of misunderstanding about your personal life or private life, job or relationship that not related in your Dharma practice, in your Sangha community, and you have some wrong accusation and you feel this is like injustice, not right. But they're not asking you about what are you doing, is that true or not, is this news right or not, and just give moral punishment, like exile you. What should we do if we see something like this? We just silent or calming, or not do the emotional first as very hot, become very disharmony, like something like misunderstanding, like so high tension, and make disharmony in our Sangha. What should we do? Accept first, or pray and purification first, or later do Guru Yoga and try to talk nicely? Because sometimes community follow the leader, they know or don't know, they just follow the leader. What should we do? Sometimes the Sangha community like just hear one side about your life, your personal life, your job, your relationship, and make judgment. We still human, we still have ego and feeling. Sometimes it's also hurt. What should we do as we follow Buddhism?
so your question is more kind of general, right? Generally.
More generally, and Bodhisattva way, sometimes Bodhisattva way, they said, even they're accusing you, you cannot be angry. Just be silent first,
like
leaving the home.
Many dependent is the situations, of course. And so you have to follow the correct, like each Chile and what is like you have to do and follow by the law and country's law, and you have to just go follow the truth. Yeah, so you have to understand what the main point, right? Not just blindly like follow someone, just you have to understand, right? You're talking about like that, or I don't know.
Because no,
practitioner or non-practitioner is a difference, like meditator practitioners that do correctly, of course, like that. Last time I shared the teaching, there I'm meditator, I'm practice a patient, whatever you want to do for me, please do for me. Not like that. That's also incorrect. You have to tell them what is wrong, what is right. You have to tell, then you have to, without anger, hatredly, you have to follow the correct, Yes. Because we are in the samsara, is to follow the law and the rules, country. So that's why you have to follow, and you need to, whatever you have to do correctly, and rather than anger and hatred. So no meditator, practitioners, anger, hatred, upset, then create causes of suffering. But that's also like just not really way to correctly done the job, right? So you have to do like follow the law and the rule correctly to done the job and what you have to do, and then no hatred to the person. Don't keep the anger in the mind. That's it.
Thank you, Kempo. So many confessions.
Kempo, I have a question again.
Yes.
I have been thinking about this because in the third verse, harmful place, abandon your homeland. I see the total benefit after I left my country, come to here. I changed a lot of my thought and become less stubborn. And when I come back, when my brother saw me and say that I really changed, and I was able to write a letter to my sister and ask her forgiveness because I was a big sister. I had to be bossy and everything. And after I understand all this, I really appreciate that change perception and change homeland. But on the other hand, I do find out one thing is very interesting. When I stay in America for so long, and I attach some of the value and some of the things, and this country become my homeland. So does that mean I have to move and not to stay in America anymore because I have certain idea and attachment in this place, and when it was not happening, I get very disturbed and disappointed. And so I just thought, do you have to change your homeland all the time or just once?
Oh, so
you know what I'm saying?
I think you have enough already. Give up your homeland. So once already, so that's enough.
Okay.
You don't have to change again. And not just Laming, give up homeland is also, you not only just attach your country. So in like your area neighbors like really, create you anger and attachment, so problems, then you have to change the neighbors. That's it.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for the precious teaching. Thank you.
Yes.
Si Ch. I don't know how we say that. Has a question, Kempala.
Tashadelek Rinpoche, I'm very worried about a prayer wheel I ordered from Taiwan, but Swedish customs send it back. What should I practice to reduce my worry about prayer wheel that stuck somewhere in the post terminals? Patience, or should I purify obstacles to Duce?
Can you say again? I didn't get.
Tashadelek Rinpoche, I'm very worried about a prayer wheel, wood prayer wheel I ordered from Taiwan, but Swedish customs send it back. What should I practice to reduce my worry on prayer wheel that's stuck somewhere in post terminals? Patience, or should I purify obstacles to Duce?
So just think about the prayer is wherever prayer is benefit others, and just happy to where is there be, you know, that's it. They're stuck somewhere. You're happy there, or the good thing stuck the prayer. And if someone get prayer, so you're happy for them. That's it. In Tibet, we have an example. What we say, incense. The thief is stealing the incense. Even thieves stealing the incense always go to the temple in the front of a Buddha. So doesn't matter thief stealing the incense. You know, like that. Prayers somewhere stuck or someone take from where from you, always good. Okay.
I think that's it, unless someone else has a question.
Okay, so then that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Rinpoche, I have a question. Can you hear me, Rinpoche? It's me, Emma.
Yes.
I have a question. Why do I just see animal realm and the human realm? Why do I not see the other realms?
Oh, maybe you can see the other realms, but not a word.
Ah.
Yeah.
Rinpoche.
Because you don't recognize their feeling. So we don't fear their feelings. That's why we no recognize, no seeing means. Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Sandra. See you
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Temple.